All right, so this is going to be the first in a series where Meteorbower and I review the friend ball matches every week for TDD Season 7. Uh,
Hell yeah, gamers.
yeah,
Welcome to real supplemental TDD analysis. It's finally happening.
exactly. I think that these matches throughout the season are going to be a lot of fun. I think people are less concerned with winning and more concerned with having fun with strats that they maybe would be too scared to bring to a real match.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so first week we have Team Fourgeist TDD versus TDD OJ. It's always going to be quick ball versus timer ball for anyone who's not familiar with friend ball. Basically, the reason we have friend ball is because we have an odd number of players in each division, and so one player per division every week will be without a real opponent. So we thought, to make sure that everyone has something to do every week, have the divisions fight each other. So that's what the
Yeah,
friend ball is for those who don't know. Okay,
yeah.
so
Fantasy core this week is looking pretty strong. I mean, as per usual, like, Mega Diancie is a Pokemon to be feared. Garchomp does numbers into a team with non-ice because no one drafted freaking ice types in Timer Ball.
that's true. Yeah, ground and ice types are very absent from Timer Ball this season. We do have a ground type here though, so it's not very applicable to this match.
Oh.
Um, yeah, but we have our team preview here, and you've given a little commentary on Fantasy Cores. Is Fantasy Cores? What's the name of that team?
Core, I think.
Oh, okay, just Core. Fantasy Core. And then we have Team 4 guys, as I said before. So, one thing to note that I actually really agree with this, but I noticed pretty closely, or pretty quickly, there's no Hippowdon on OJ's team, and he built a sand team. Um,
Yeah.
but I think this was mentioned in the recap of the draft. OJ's team does not need sand to perform. It can very
Yeah,
much not
for
bring
sure.
Hippowdon, which happens here. So why do you think that was?
Uh, I mean, anything to keep Iron Boulder from getting a special defense boost is good. Not that you have a ton of special attackers on this team right now. I think Slowking is the only, like, super notable one. Infernape you can kind of run mixed, especially if you are giving it Nasty Plot.
Hmm.
But definitely good to not buff your opponents in the process. And I think Mega Diancie would be more afraid of the physical attacks from Escavalier anyway, so it's not benefiting as much from Sand as much as a Boulder would.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Sand helps the Deancey matchup into Ursaluna. I guess it probably does better against an Earth Power. Um,
Yeah.
so maybe that's one thing. But I do overall agree with this play, like to leave it on the bench, and allows you to bring something in like what's the anchor called? I literally had the anchor.
Elmise.
I had him. The, Delmise. It allows you to bring Delmise, and I think Delmise goes great here. It underspeeds Ursaluna and Trick Room. I'm pretty sure about that, and it's immune to the fighting type attacks, specifically from Blaziken. So you could switch it in on like a close combat or something, but then I guess it does still get threatened by the fire move.
Yeah. I feel like if David brought Gengar to this match, it could have been a pretty interesting bring. I'm not sure who it would have replaced now that I am saying it out loud, but like matches up super well into the lower tier Pokemon on his team, which I feel like end up being kind of threatening in this match. So,
Yeah, I think I could see that. And I forget what other I don't know the teams off the top of my head because it's the first week, but I forget what else like maybe if you just didn't expect Gengar to need to come. Um,
yeah.
but again, this is friend ball, so I do think that at least from talking with David before the match, like there were some strats on this team that I think he wanted to just get out of the way. Like he was
Yeah,
happy
full
to.
send it with lower consequences.
Yeah, I won't go and spoil this Moltres set, but it's pretty glorious.
Yep.
And by that I mean it's awful. All right. So yeah, I'll get us started here. We can get some commentary on the actual match.
Sounds good.
Oh gosh, slow is so slow.
Yeah, you can honestly probably do normal speed.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do normal speed, and yeah, we got
I
some
feel
lead.
like this lead is not particularly surprising in any case. This fake out into the Blaziken slot I feel like is an interesting option because Blaziken's probably going to do one of two things on turn one. It's either going to protect so it can get the speed boost up, or if you, especially next to an Ogerpon that has redirection, clicking Swords Dance is usually kind of free. And I think that might have been what was going through OJ's head as he was clicking who gets faked out that turn.
Yeah,
Which I don't hate the fake out into the Blaziken, but
I was a little peeved watching this, but I think in retrospect that makes a lot of sense. Originally, when I was watching this last night, I was so happy to see the fake out land, and then when I saw he was using Brave Bird, I was like, cool, this thing is dying. And it's kind of funny because Brave Bird's animation doesn't make it clear who it's hitting until it lands. And
yeah.
I was so ready for the not Moltres, for the Blaziken to go down, and then it went into the
yeah.
other slot, and I was very surprised. But I think overall, yeah, it was sort of a safer play because if the Protect goes out, Ogerpon is just able to get a very free Ivy Cudgel into Amphernate.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's definitely not the highest reward that you could have root from that turn. Like, doubling down into the Blaziken obviously would have panned out well in this scenario, but if just the threat of redirection was still there and the Ivy Cudgel came into Infernape, the rest of this match would have played out very differently.
Definitely.
Free speed boost, pivot into Slowking, and Diancie. So full double switch from OJ, which I don't hate. I mean, like, the Diancie coming into tank a Flare Blitz as Tailwind gets set up. That could have been scary if that was a Fiery Wrath instead of a Tailwind, but I feel like knowing once Moltres comes onto the field, that's probably what it's going to do on its first turn. It's like, fine.
Yeah, I don't think the Fiery Wrath is coming out there. It doesn't do that much damage, and unless you're fishing for flinches, like, and I think what the Infernape was there, yeah, I think that was a very good defensive switch from OJ.
I agree.
And I think the story of this first few turns is a lot of good defensive switching.
Yeah. Ogerpon comes back in. Diancie tanks a close combat. I'm not sure if that would have one-shot from the damage that it was currently at. It wouldn't surprise me if it did. It's like 150 base defense versus Blaziken's 160 HP, right?
Right.
Or not HP, attack stat. But the interesting thing here is Slowking clicks Future Sight, which Psychic could have potentially killed from here, even with no investment on Slowking's offensive stats, assuming no bulk on Blaziken, which is decently uncommon.
Yeah,
run.
This is another turn watching live. I didn't think about Psychic just going in. I thought he was gonna click a Trick Room or something. You know, that would have really turned like Diancie is not Mega'd yet. It's slow. He has two very slow Pokemon on the team besides Diancie,
set up
and he has Tailwind set up. So I thought, you know, this is a perfect turn to click Trick Room. It could be that he just wasn't running it, but from the rest of the team, I thought he was. The other thing I want to praise OJ on though here is not Megaing Diancie. If you're going to protect, and Diancie, like a lot of Pokemon get more bulky when they Mega, and so sometimes it is good to Mega and protect because if you have to switch out, you know, on switch in next time you bring it in, it's bulkier. But Diancie operates the opposite way, where you want to keep this thing in its base form until you actually need to click an attack move.
Yeah,
So
I think that
really
like the only other Mega I can think of off the top of my head that does that is like Mawile if you're trying to fish for multiple Intimidates.
Yeah,
but
Gyarados.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So good play there.
Yeah, and here we go again with another just very good switch.
Yeah, really good defensive pivots.
Yeah.
Taking no damage here. I will say the follow-up turn, these defensive pivots are a little squandered because I feel like that Flare Blitz coming into the Corviknight slot is pretty obvious. But
yeah, I forgot I wanted to talk about this as well. Going back a turn here. So this here, I don't know if. I assume he knows how Future Sight works because he clicks it. But this slot is getting Future Sighted this turn, and he should know that because he targeted it. I don't know what he's running on these two sets, but I felt like this was a very free protect turn. In that, you know, Blaziken, we haven't seen it run protect yet. It's possible it's not. I would be very surprised if it wasn't, but I think it's. I don't know. I thought it would be much safer to just wait out the Future Sight. If that was the plan you were going for, clicking Future Sight to see if that is going to take the kill, and it ends up doing that. But if he had protected, he would have made out with a lot more momentum after the fact.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't actually know how Follow Me and Future Sight works. It doesn't. Obviously, we see this here, so it doesn't redirect. But if you Future Sighted, I guess on the turn the Follow Me came out, that would redirect.
Yeah, I think so. I forget. I don't know off the top of my head either. And we see a pretty quick rock slide come out from the Garchomp into a very unlucky flinch, considering that like Air Slash is a roll to one-shot Delmise, assuming it's uninvested, with a high chance to KO after the Life Orb recoil. So,
Yeah.
Sag.
And so we can tell from knowing the set that that is a Scarf Garchomp, but I guess without knowing that Moltres is Scarf, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's a Garchomp Scarf.
Yeah. And then we learn that you see another unlucky flinch last turn, and now you just know that it's in fact Serene Grace Garchomp, judging by the third turn with the flinch.
Can I just shout out that insane Blood Moon animation? That's so cool.
Yeah, it is very good. Okay, if we pause now, I think that Grass Knot from Infernape, I'm pretty sure that's Expert Belt, judging by the damage that's done to presumably AV or Saluna. I feel like Close Combat would have been a slightly better hedge there, considering that the Pokemon in the back is Moltres, which actually might have still lived a Grass Knot at 20%, which it wouldn't have been fantastic on David's part. What else was, what was the previous move before Grass Knot into...
It just Fake Out.
Like, did it just eat a Fake Out? Okay.
I think it was a Rock Slide Fake Out.
Or Rock, yeah,
rock slide,
Spread Rock Slide, which does like 6 damage. So I guess Moltres wouldn't have loved switching in on that. So never mind, I don't hate it. Like, I didn't hate it originally, just like, I feel like Close Combat probably would have been the slightly better play, but I mean, it still obviously paid dividends.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a fan of, if you can avoid dropping your defenses, you know, you should. So if he's worried about dropping the defenses in front of something like, if he thinks Iron Head is the best move, like both Escavalier stabs do not kill Infernape, but if he starts dropping his defenses, then there is a risk that it happens, so maybe that's what he's worried about.
Good.
Double target into the Scarf, I think that's a good call. He's playing for that win con, he cannot leave that Garchomp up.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty much GG from here, once the Diancie comes back out, and the Flamethrower does too.
Yeah,
so I guess that is special Infernape, barring the Fake Out.
I do like special Infernape. I wonder if that's Blaze as well, considering Iron Fist would be pretty useful.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Could have been Nasty Plot as the 4th move or whatever.
Yeah, but that's the very first Friend Ball match. We have a winner from Quick Ball for week 1. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
what do you think
into
overall?
One of Timer Ball's, I think, more mentally demanding opponents when they aren't running Scarf, Memento, Moltres, Galar.
Yeah, we should talk about this set. He only reveals Tailwind, but he was Scarf, Tailwind, Memento, I think Fiery Wrath, and I don't remember what the 4th move
and
was.
Air Slash, I think
it was Air Slash. Okay. Yeah. I think that was just something he wanted to get out of the way. I don't think he'll be bringing that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I will say, like, Iron Boulder dying on switch-in, just the anchor shot was unlucky. I also would not have expected that to be as, like... I mean, I guess when you get Stab on a Steel-type move into Iron Boulder...
The theme of the week is that Stab is one hell of a drug.
Wow. A Meteorbower coined term being thrown back at him.
Yeah. I mean, I do like Delmise, despite the fact that I forgot his name 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, he's pretty strong.
Yeah, so I'm happy to see.
Good anchor for any team.
Yeah, and so I think that's all we had for this first week of Friend Ball. I will be compiling Friend Ball stats in the Black Market sheet, so if you want to check out your Pokemon stack up against others in that specific division, you can check that out.
Cool. Thanks for joining us this week.
Yeah. All right. Adios.
See ya.